Hello everyone, this is the P-51D in 1/48 scale from Hasegawa. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This got started as part of a project I was building about 1.5 to 2 years ago. I was going to build 3 different P-51s, kind of comparing different kits. This one from Hasegawa, one from Edward, and one from Tamiya. And I kind of lost my mojo and ended up, I got started on all 3 of them, put them back in boxes and just kind of put them back on the shelf and ignored them for the last 1.5 to 2 years. And I decided to dig them back out and kind of poke at them and see how I could do. And this is the first one that I grabbed. And yeah, let's talk about it. The plastic is not great. It's not awful, but it's not great. You know, when you're looking at the plastic, usually you're looking for that nice, sharp, crispy detail in the raised and recessed details that are on here, and they're not really sharp and crisp anymore. They're more kind of soft and fluffy these days. And given that this kit was tooled back in the early 90s, well, that's what happens to all of us as we age. So some prime examples of that, you can see these panels, the panel lines here, especially on these wings, are exaggerated, I would say, in many cases. And believe it or not, there are some recessed rivets on the control surfaces here that you probably can't see on camera, and they're barely visible by eye, at least on this side. They're completely missing on that side. So it's really inconsistent and just not great. It's not, again, it's not awful. It could be worse, but it's not great. And there's some accuracy issues here as well. But the you know, that's the first problem. If we talk about the canopy also for just a moment, the plastic there is incredibly thin. And that's fine for the glass part of the canopy. Actually, that would have been very nice. Unfortunately, it's for all of the plastic. So the frame, and there are some details that at one point in time I think were, you know, engraved in there, like this emergency release handle there. Yeah, that's almost non-existent now. It's still there if you look really hard, but it's, yeah, it just really hasn't stood the test of time. And on the canopy, it's too wide. It just did not fit on the fuselage when I set it on there to just kind of test fit it. That's not why I did it open, but I just was putting it on there to see how it fit, and it did not fit very well. The other downside of that very thin canopy is right here. When you go to drill this hole so that you can run your radial line through there, at least I think that's what it's for, it's very easy to crack this canopy. And I kind of did that a little bit when I was working on it. So that didn't go horribly well either. Continuing to talk about the plastic, let's talk a little bit about fitment here. The fit, for the most part, was okay. There were a few areas where the fit was just awful. The first place is right here at the wing root. The shape is fine. Unfortunately, they don't sit up high enough to actually match the shape on the fuselage. So when you put these upper surfaces for the wings on, they sit about 1 millimeter or 2 down from the edge of the fillet here where it is on the fuselage. And that is very difficult to deal with and correct. So that can be quite annoying to try and adjust. The other place on the fuselage where I ran into some fitting issues is with this piece right here, this little chin piece that goes on. I had to sand the ever-living daylights out of that to get that to be reasonably smooth. So when you put this on, it is too small compared to everything else. So there is a significant lip where it meets this, where it meets the nose on the fuselage, the engine cover area. The other major fit complaint that I had was with the landing gear. Now, the P-51 landing gear is honestly, I mean, it's about as simple as it gets. There's not much to it. But they kind of did it the hard way, in my opinion. Because there should just be, this should just be a straight post basically going up inside the fuselage. That's kind of the easiest way to do it. There's actually an angled piece that's keyed that goes into this hole. And I think I got some footage of it. I'll show you in the build. And its tolerances are not good. So it's very loose in there. So it's very hard to get this to line up and look good and straight when you actually put them in there. So that's a little bit annoying. And that kind of rough fitting, not quite getting in there as well as it should, that's kind of part and parcel for most of the Hasegawa kits that I've run into, where there's not a lot of positive assistance in getting things fit into place. So, for instance, these other pieces right here, there's these other landing gear doors. They're just kind of sitting on there. There's no really good tabs or alignment pieces to help you get that in the right place. These pieces here, now this does actually have some alignment, but it doesn't have anything to hold this in place. So that's a bit of a struggle to get that set in there correctly. And the same thing here. This is just kind of set into this opening, and that is a bit of a struggle to get in there and have it not look awful. The one thing I'll say is that that's really a kind of a nice thing for this kit is this interior bay for the landing gear. That looks really nice. I mean, they actually did a really good job. That's, when you consider the price point of this kit, that's kind of an extra little bit of detail that you wouldn't expect. Now you guys can't really see it here, but I took some better pictures and some video of it when I was working on it. But the interior, it's not bad, but it's not great. And it's missing, well, I wouldn't say it's missing, it does not come with a decal for the instrument panel, which I don't think the Tamiya kit comes with one either. And in my opinion, in both instances, that's a missed opportunity to make this kit look just a little bit nicer. So yeah, there's that. The very last thing I want to touch on are these decals. They're pretty thick, but they're also just a little bit transparent. So for instance, I don't think you can see it on camera, but there's a clear demarcation that you can see through the insignia decal here, where this is painted white, that is painted black, and it's very obvious that that's what's going on underneath. Now that's something that could be corrected just by painting these insignia on, and I did paint a lot of stuff on. So this blue stripe, all of this work up on the nose, all of these different pieces. So there are decals in the kit for this tail marking and for this blue flash on the tail, and I just painted all those on, and that was actually fairly easy and fairly straightforward to do. But yeah, the decals are pretty beefy, and even after several attempts to kind of soften them up and get them to set down a little bit, it's still pretty obvious that they're decals, and you can pretty easily see the outline. Now you can correct that with enough clear coats and sanding and spending enough time on it. You can, but honestly, for the quality of the kit, I just and the fact that I wasn't really feeling it, I didn't feel the need to go very much further on that. The one other thing I want to point out is on the top of the fuselage here, where on top above the engine, there's a whole bunch of rivets that should be on this line. Now, I put them there myself because they are not present on the kit. And yeah, that was kind of disappointing because, again, that's one of those little details that seems like it shouldn't have been extra work to put that on there. But I am not a scale model engineer, so who knows? So when I do these little reviews and talks, a lot of times what I point out are some of the downsides and some of the struggles that we deal with. And that can sometimes give the impression that I think these kits are crap and you shouldn't bother with them. I don't think that at all. I think you should buy whatever kit interests you, and I think you should build it and enjoy the experience. And I did enjoy this experience. It was an experience that taught me a few things and told me some things that I could do better in the future. And this kit's not bad, but I would say for the price point, there are probably some other kits out there that are better. Now, I'm going to be building the Tamiya kit and the Edward kit of this sometime. No promises, but sometime. And when I'm done, I'll kind of give you my verdict as to how I think they all lined up. I can tell you just by looking at the plastic, I think the Edward kit is kind of going to win out. But also, first impressions of the Edward kit is that you should just get the weekend edition and not bother with a Profi pack. But I'll have more to say when I actually build it. The big thing to take away is all of these kits come with their challenges. All of these kits come with some downsides and some things that they do really well. There were some nice things about this kit, and then there were some things about this kit that were disappointing and a little frustrating. If you just want to have the kit to build and have the experience, that's great. If you're looking to like put this in a big national contest, you may be taking on some extra work to pull that off. Anyway, that's all I have to really say about this. I did enjoy the kit. Hope you guys enjoy the build. See you next time, and happy hobbying.